Barron Trump stood on the grand stage, his tall frame poised but slightly tense as he prepared to deliver his speech. The auditorium was packed, the air buzzing with anticipation. It was a special evening, an event celebrating young achievers who had made an impact in various fields. The youngest son of former President Donald Trump had been invited as a guest of honor, recognized for his academic excellence and contributions to charitable causes. But little did he know, the night was about to take a deeply emotional turn. As he glanced over the sea of faces in the crowd, something caught his eye. Someone, rather. A familiar face, one that triggered a flood of memories. For a split second, Barron felt as if time had rewound, back to the days when he was just a quiet boy sitting in a classroom, hanging on to every word of his teacher's lessons. His heart pounded. Could it really be her? Mrs. Ellen Carter, his favorite teacher from elementary school? He hadn't seen her in years. She was more than just an educator. She was the woman who had encouraged him when he felt overshadowed by his powerful family name, the one who had seen potential in him when he doubted himself. She had once told him, "Barron, the world will always have expectations of you, but only you can define who you truly are." Those words had stayed with him, guiding him through the pressures of growing up in the public eye. At that moment, emotion overwhelmed him. He took a deep breath, trying to maintain composure, but his voice trembled as he spoke into the microphone. "Before I continue with my speech, I just want to acknowledge someone very special who is here tonight," he said, scanning the audience until he met her gaze. Mrs. Carter's eyes widened, her hand covering her mouth in shock as a soft gasp escaped her lips. "You may not remember me, but I will never forget you," Barron continued, his voice thick with emotion. "Mrs. Carter, you were more than just a teacher to me. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. You taught me that kindness, patience, and knowledge are more powerful than any title or last name. You shaped the person I am today, and I cannot tell you how much that means to me." The crowd turned to look at the woman, who now had tears streaming down her face. The once stern yet warm teacher who had dedicated her life to her students was now visibly moved. Slowly she stood up, hesitant at first, then more confidently, as the audience erupted into applause. Barron left the podium and made his way toward her, the cameras flashing wildly, capturing the emotional reunion. When he reached her, he didn't say a word. He simply embraced her. The auditorium fell silent, the power of the moment speaking louder than any speech ever could. Tears filled the eyes of many in the room. It wasn't just a student thanking his teacher. It was a powerful reminder of how one person's belief in another can change the course of their life. In that moment, it didn't matter that Barron was the son of a former president. He was just a young man expressing gratitude to the person who had shaped his journey in ways the world never knew. As he stepped back, wiping his own damp eyes, he smiled at her. "Thank you for everything," he whispered, and she simply nodded, unable to find the words. The audience gave a standing ovation, moved by the raw, heartfelt exchange. That night, Barron Trump's speech was not about politics, privilege, or prestige. It was about the power of gratitude, the impact of a great teacher, and the beautiful way life has of bringing people back together when they least expect it. And for those who witnessed the moment, it was something they would never forget.